Welcome to the On the Line podcast. I'm Matt, and with me today is my co-host Chris Meldrum and a special guest host today, Josh Mitchison. He's rarely on the show, just every episode. He's stuck in the studio, so we will let him out eventually, I promise. With all of us, we have from Belgium, winners of the 2019 Pair of the Year, Stephan, Fiers, and Ingeborg, Aarts. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good evening.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Josh, are we gonna get a hello from you, or you just?
Hello. Sorry, I was swallowing my rhubarb.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. Welcome to the show. How have you been finding the lockdown situation?
It's quite hard for us. I mean, we're not allowed to go outside, fly kites. We live at about a 10-minute drive from the beach. We're not allowed to go there, fly kites. And quite frustrating. The beach is so close and can't go out. But it's for the sake of all of us. It's for the good of all of us. So, yeah, we just accept.
Yeah, so the regulations are pretty tight here as well. We're not allowed out, even though I look out the window every day. And I just want to go fly, but I've been a very, very good boy. There's people like Dan Hoth that have got space literally at the back of their garden and they can fly. And I'm very envious.
There are very bad names for those kind of persons. It's just lucky something.
Exactly. Yeah, feel free to swear. Feel free to swear. You know. So the regulations are tight enough that you just haven't been able to fly, basically.
No. Just walking, cycling, go shopping. And for those who can go to work, they can go to work.
We need to get you some iFlights over there so you can fly in your living room.
We've flown here in the street. I mean,
we went out flying kites in the street.
I mean, I wasn't going to mention it. I did spot it on Facebook, but I thought I'd just keep that to myself. That's fine.
That's the thing. We had our wedding by the end of February 29, and we got a wonderful kite made by Sebastian and Clara from Germany, and we haven't flown it yet for such a long time, and now we really wanted to see how it looked like in the air. And we had some bit of wind, and we went down the street just flying it, testing it, and see how it looks.
Right on. Absolutely. I would be doing the same myself if I had such a beautiful kite to fly. So as we're getting into it, how many years have you both been flying then?
So
I'm flying for 3 years, so not that long. And we're flying together also 3 years, I guess.
Yep. As an individual, I'm flying for 11 years already. And as a pair for 3 years now.
And who would you say is the better pilot? If I had to throw that spanner in the works.
That's a very, very evil question.
Absolutely.
Now, I just want to at this point out that it wasn't me that actually asked that question. And if it was going to be anyone, it was going to be Josh.
Yeah. It depends. What do you call the best pilot? Having the most of technique, or is skilled and relaxed enough to fly, being calm, being relaxed, flying nice lines? I mean,
who crashes the least?
I can answer that one for you.
I mean, Stephan broke a bar over a quad line kite. I mean, that's really, really special. I've never seen someone doing that.
Shocking behavior. You've obviously never seen Josh fly. He's terrible. He can't
No,
keep them in the air.
I don't even know what a kite is.
No. So, Ingeborg, what's your first kite memory?
My first kite memory? I don't know anymore, to be honest. I know I've bought the Toxic from Richard, and I've flown with it, and it was horrible. I'm sorry, Richard, because it's very much not for someone who starts kite flying. It's really a tricky kite. You have to be used to fly two-line kites, and not as a first kite. It was a rocket.
And Stefan, what's your first kiting memory?
My very first kiting memory. I mean, when I was 19 years old, I had a girlfriend, and her parents took me to a kite fest, my very first time. And that, I think for me, that was Lunen in Germany. That was my very first kite festival. And I don't know, the whole weekend I've been walking around, looking up, just watching all those kites. I was amazed by everything that happened. And then someone gave me a kite. I think it was a Tramontana. I started flying a dual line kite, and for me it was like, whoa, this is so nice. This is so great.
Tramontana, lovely kite.
Yeah,
I'm looking at one right now. I actually have one propped up in the corner, believe it or
It's
not.
on my bucket list.
It's absolutely a beautiful kite. We still have like I think a baby Tana in our back for very light wind days, or just having fun. And then for, let's say, about 6, 7, or even 8 years, I haven't been flying at all. I mean, I was really into skiing, alpine skiing, doing competitions in Europe, in the Alps. And then after that, I just took up kite flying again, and then everything went very fast. Started flying dual lines, getting better in it, and then very first kite festivals in Belgium, in Ostend. Went there every year. I have really great memories from Ostend. We have had perfect wind editions, but we've had the last 3 editions were horrible.
A little bit too windy on the last Ostend, as I remember.
I think a lot of kite flyers remember a picture of a flying chair, and
yes,
that's Ostend. I mean, but that's how it started for me.
Awesome.
It was in Lunen, Germany.
So you were effectively quite old when you, I guess, picked up your first kite, or
Yep. Yeah.
like in comparative terms. Like for me, I can remember being really quite young and just having this. I don't even know what it would have been at the time, but it was definitely a diamond, but it was dual line, and the fascination was just, wow, I have some control all of a sudden. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I came into it quite late, and personally, I really regret. And I think if I
can
Ingeborg, it's gonna be the same.
I can
For me,
relate
it's
to
the same.
Stefan. I can relate to Stefan. That's how I discovered kiting, was a festival like that. Almost the exact same manner.
Just friends taking you with them and discovering it, flying, having fun, and then the world's, it's like a new world. It's like coming home.
Have you been to any American festivals?
Not yet. I have one. American experience in kite flying, and because I was invited by Lisa Willoughby to stay in her house for some days. So I stayed on Long Beach Island for 5 days. We went flying kites, and the thing is, it's an island, so there's always a sea breeze on one side of the island. There's always good wind in some place. So we went to Long Beach Island. We went flying there. It was really amazing, absolutely great experience. And even in the center of New York City, we went flying kites. I've been flying Lisa's Synergy in Central Park. We have been flying the I-flights. Awesome. That was absolutely fantastic. We flew the I-flights in Grand Central Station in the big hall.
I've seen the photos.
Absolutely. Yeah, great memories. Yeah. And then also we've been flying our I-flights on the top of Rockefeller Center by night. And that was stunning.
Sweet.
I'm not sure if we can continue talking to Stefan because it's making me very, very jealous. And I'm sure everyone at home listening is currently thinking, I need to be out flying a kite right now. And we're just scratching the surface. So let's get down to some real nitty gritty questions. I have one highlighted here. Now, I have been warned that this may just completely devastate the world of kiting. So it does come with that warning. If you could only fly one kite for the rest of time, what kite would that be?
Stefan has to be the first one answering that, so I can think. So here you go.
Ooh. That's a cruel question, really.
We're not here to make friends.
Honestly,
We're here to get the answers.
if I go to the beach and I just have to take one kite, it's impossible for me to go to the beach and taking only one kite, like just for one afternoon. It's impossible.
If you didn't have a choice,
If I don't have yeah, then sorry, Josh. I would definitely go for the Nirvana third generation, the UL. I love flying the UL. I'm sorry, Josh. And it's for
No.
individual.
Okay, and we're waiting. Have you made your decision yet?
No, but I just understood I have to make a decision. So I think I will go for the quad kite, just for the only reason it's more social. I'm so sorry. It's more social. It's more, you fly more together. You have more interaction.
I mean, it's much less political to pick a quad kite. So yeah, it's a safe choice for sure.
I feel that's a very general kind of area, though. You're going to have to be more specific than just quad flying kites.
Yeah.
I only have one
Quad.
quad line kite, so I can't decide what's better.
That's
No.
fair.
I think she's lying to all. She's got 3 of them.
But they are all from polo.
Good kites.
Very good kites. Very, very good kites.
Absolutely.
So is it a polo? Is that your choice?
That's my choice, yes.
No,
Would that be a vented or a standard polo?
A mid-vent.
oh,
Smooth.
mid-vent. Okay, nice. Yeah, good. Okay. So, in that case, what would be your favorite trick?
I think he's talking to you.
I'm talking to both of you, but Ingeborg can answer
Quad
first.
kites?
It doesn't have to be a trick that you do. A trick that you doesn't have to be on that kite. Just your favorite trick from the world of kiting.
Any trick in general.
Yeah. So let's go first, and then Ingeborg can think a bit. I'm going for a trick that most kite flyers can do. Even Josh is able to do it. I'm going for the Jacob's ladder. I love flying this one. I love the movement, the ongoing movement. It's so sweet, so nice. I love flying it.
I would quite like you to elaborate on the Jacob's ladder, because I know Josh can do the Jacob's ladder, but which version of the Jacob's ladder? Because I know of 5.
Oh snap!
Yeah. Let's go for the relaxed one.
And can you do this trick, or is this just your favorite trick?
I can do it.
Okay, good enough for me.
Your turn.
I have a question. You guys are in Belgium, correct?
We are.
How big is kiting over there? Is it big at all? Is it small?
Yeah. All disciplines together. I mean, if you talk about all disciplines, single line, dual line, quad line, then yeah,
all of it.
We have a kite community. Who's relatively large compared to the size of Belgium. We have a lot of single line kite flyers building their own figures, building their own kites, and as for sports kites in general, for trick kites, dual line trick kites, let's say around 10 pilots in Belgium, and only 3 or 4 flying competitions. For quad lines, we have very few information about it. I think if there are 2 or 3 quad flyers we meet often or fly together, that would be maximum, I think. And as for dual line pairs, like we do, we're the only pair in Belgium. So the only entirely Belgian pair flying kites.
But we fly a lot together with the Dutch people, and in the Netherlands there are a little bit more 2-line kite flyers, a lot more 4-line flyers. I don't know about the single line kite flyers, but I think there are more too than in Belgium. So
yeah.
Now, before the quarantine, when you guys were still allowed to go out and fly and stuff, how many hours a week would you say you two fly or practice?
In normal conditions, I think, 3 times a week. Like
And it kind of depends on my shifts, but
yeah,
if we're able to, 3 times a week, yes.
yeah. And then it's like evening sessions of 2 hours. And then mostly, if the weather is okay, wind is okay for us. If we can go to the beach for 2 days in the weekends, we go to the beach for the whole weekend. But yeah, at least once in the weekend we go for some training flights, training sessions, or just flying individually. We try to do it as often as we can.
That sounds
I've
good.
I've seen you guys fly, and I know how you guys fly, and I like watching you guys fly. But from a point of where you start out and you say, right, we're going to develop a new routine, what do you guys look for in your flying specifically, which helps you reach that outcome?
For us, we tried. Let's start like for us, like a ballet starts from an idea we both have. I mean, our the ballet we flew last year, we wrote it together at home on really in the sheets, on written down on paper, so we could go back and watch it again and again in case of problems. Also, before every demonstration, we do a stick routine to have everything in our mind.
Of course.
But we always start from a music on which we both feel we can tell something, we can show something. Mostly we listen to music, and the first time we listen to the music and the second time we're both having kites in our minds, and it's like, okay, this is the point we can do landings. This, I can see my kite doing this, I can see our kites doing this. And
so
then
you're identifying a narrative with the music and kites.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it happens. Last year we had a couple of very nice moments. We just went to the beach. We have the radio system, and we were just listening to a music playlist we had on Spotify, and we were just flying together. And all of a sudden, on the song, everything came together. It was like, okay, now we feel the rhythm, we feel the beats, we feel the moments, and it was like, maybe symbiosis is a weird word to use in that context, but suddenly it was like it felt like thinking the same, flying the same, and feeling same movement.
I totally get what you mean.
From that moment on, I think last year when we were writing the ballet, before showing the parts that we had written, we just listened to the music and we tried to find parts in music, first part, second part, third part. And on the first time we both did that, we had identically the same parts. So for us, it was very easy to feel a good link with that music and to work from that on.
Well, if it matches and you guys are feeling the same thing, you know it works. And great answer.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite album or song or something that you guys like flying to? Or is it just kind of all random what you're feeling in the moment?
Our very first ballet was on a very slow kind of new age music. It was from Adiemus, and we were flying a very slow ballet on that part, on that music. And last year we flew on, or last 2 years we flew on Black Blades on music, because I heard the music we were working on it in 2018, and then I went to Berk, and in Berk there was a team, Silat from Malaysia. They were flying on that music, and for me it was like, oh no, we've been working on it already. Silat is flying on this music. What shall we do? So I went to see the guys from Silat after competition. Was like, guys, can we talk about something? We got an issue, and they were so nice for us. They were so friendly. It was like, okay, go, because we are working on a new routine. You can have it, and we wish you a lot of luck, a lot of success with it. So we took that music. We were able to continue our work. But you can see at the Emus and Black Blade, it's completely different. We've also been training on Imagine Dragons.
Ooh,
yeah.
More specific, which Imagine Dragons song, or do you not want to say?
Was it Natural?
Yeah, it was Natural, yes.
Natural, yeah.
Great song.
Absolutely. Also nice parts with cascades in it, and yeah. So it's a variety of music.
So just briefly mentioning, it's very indicative of the kite world, that interaction that you had with the other team, and then being so understanding. I think it's fair to say that we're a fairly good bunch. We're quite understanding of what people are trying to achieve. So it was kind of them to push you on and say, look, yeah, take it and do what you want with it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm very thankful. Still, I still am. But I think that's in general the kite community. It's a matter about sharing things, sharing emotions, sharing passions, sharing the same goals. I mean, if we go to a kite fest, we are not going to a kite festival just to fly demonstrations and show what we can. We want to help the organization to achieve success throughout the kite fest. And if that means that on Saturday morning we are running around the field to help and get banners up everywhere, or if a kite is lost in the sea, to go after it, get it back. I mean, that's the whole big part of kite family. And yeah, even on Saturday evening, Sunday evening, we're running around to get the banners back down in the tent, and just to help achieve the same goal. That's why I say we all have the same passion, like make a big success of events. So that sharing music, sharing emotions is something very, very active in kite community.
So
But
go on, Ingeborg.
we also think it's important if the people who are watching have questions or want to ask you something about the kite, about the music, about how you wrote your ballet, or about whatever question they have. It's so important to involve them in the kite flying, in what you're doing. I mean, people have to be interested in what you're doing, because if they are not interested, if they say, oh, what you're doing, it sucks, or oh, it's a stupid person, blah blah blah, they don't watch anymore, they don't come to kite festivals anymore. I mean, it's important to communicate with the people watching.
Absolutely, absolutely. Stephan, we've spoken about the flying that you both do, but I'd like to talk a little bit, if we can, about um, your other involvement. You were the field director at Burke in 2018.
Yep.
Can you tell us a bit about that and what that actually involves? Because to me, that sounds like the most monumental amount of responsibility and work I
Wind
can't
check.
begin to imagine.
Wind check, yeah. So as Josh said, wind check was the word of 2018. Yeah, for me, that Burke edition of 2018 was really a fantastic experience. I spent 9 days on the beach, on the competition field during several days, and during those 9 days in Burke, you live in a completely different world. I mean, everything what is happening in all other parts of the world, you're not aware of it. And then after the last day in Burke, you go home. It's like, what happens? It's like you've been gone for weeks, and so it's a completely different world. But for me, my task as the field director at the World Championships is to help pilots. I'm the field director is the link is between judges and pilots. He's also the only person in the field who's allowed to communicate with pilots, and the pilots are also only allowed to communicate with judges through the field director. So it's my job was helping pilots, helping the teams. Like for compulsory figures, I had the figures written on small cards, so I could show them, this is the figure you have to fly. This is your time. You have time to warm up. You have time to set up. You have time to execute. And I'm also a kind of timekeeper during that part of the competition. The wind check thing is also an issue. I mean, for competitions, there's a wind window with a minimum speed, maximum speed, and if pilots feel like the wind is below or above the restrictions, they can ask for a wind check during the first minute of the ballet or routine, and then I have to measure the wind, call wind is good, wind is bad, and if I call wind is bad, then pilots can choose to stop flying, and I can call a wind recess for 10 minutes, and then it's up to the head judge to decide, can we continue competition or not? So that we continue measuring the wind speed. Also, like for the other part of the competition, for the ballets, it's also all teams have their ballet in mind. So that's, in that part, I'm not explaining like this is what you have to do, because that's all in the mind of the pilots. I'm just there for timekeeper, wind checks in the first minute, and I'm in contact with the organizer, with Gerard, also like the start music, pilots are ready, judges are ready. It's just checking the whole time, is everybody ready to perform in the best possible conditions on the field. And I have to say that the very first day of competition in Berg 2018, I'll never forget the feeling, because also the field director is the first on the field on competition, and he's the last one going off. If on Tuesday morning you go on that beach on the very first day of competitions and you see thousands and thousands of people surrounding the arena, it's very impressive. And on that point, I have in mind, I want to be, after this competition, I want to be as anonymous as possible, because that means that I have done a good job. I don't want the public to recognize me after it, because it's about the pilots, their performance, the teams. It's not about the judges or the field director or whatever.
So your aim is to be as seamless as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was lucky enough to be in Berk in 2018 watching the World Championships, and fair to say it was amazing. But if you guys had to pick out one point from that which particularly stood out in your mind, do you think you could recognize something which made you go like, wow?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, that was on a day we had in mind that on Thursday the wind would be very bad. So we told the teams we count on you for 2 ballet rounds in one afternoon. And everybody was so tired after the first round. Wind was very bad. Everybody has struggled with wind. It was really terrible. I mean, wind was around 5, so just above minimum, the minimum restriction. So that was really the
worst place to be.
Yeah, the worst place to be. It was also not a stable wind. And then after the last team, wind fell, nothing anymore. And we were really in doubt, like, okay, are we going to continue this competition? Are we going to wait? What are we going to do? And all of a sudden, there was a sea breeze, a 15 kilometers an hour sea breeze coming up, so stable for the whole afternoon, and all the teams could perform in that perfect wind. I have seen absolutely fantastic ballets on that moment.
Great. Ingeborg, when you first met Stephan and he told you he flew kites, did you ever picture this being something that you guys could do together, or did you think, oh, that's a bit odd? Or what was your initial reaction?
Before I met Stephan, never been to a kite festival or thought about kite flying or did kite flying. So I didn't have any idea. And the first time I went with him to the beach to fly kites, it was just really fun. Hugo gave me a kite to try, and I liked it, and then I bought the toxic, and then I bought another kite and another kite and another kite and another kite, and now I have a whole bag of kites.
Brilliant. So it's kind of like it just first time and then straight take off, no pun intended.
Yeah, something like that, yes.
And what kites are you currently flying for your pairs?
Yeah. So the last years we've been flying the pairs with the Nirvana third generation, the entry from Moscow. Ingeborg especially, she has had some serious medical issues because of kite flying as well, hip problems, knee problems, and back problems, because of way too much pull in the sail. And we tried everything, and last year in Narbonne we had the chance to test the impulse by Kitech, and for us it was like, whoa, this is also possible to fly in a really relaxed way and to fly as a team and synchronize it and lower speed, less radical. Because I don't want to say that Nirvanas are bad kites or bad pair kites. They are very active. They are quite radical, but it doesn't fit our style as a pair. And we were able to identify with the impulse in the way of flying. So last year we said, like, okay, let's go for it. We ordered 2 standard kites. We talked to Josh, like, okay, we want to try it. We want to give it a go. And then last winter we went to Spain for 2 weeks. We have had absolutely great training conditions for the 2 weeks. 23 degrees every day. 16, 17 kilometers an hour wind every day, and sea breeze. And yeah, we were able to fly the impulse several days, and was like, okay, this is really what we want. This is so for the pair. We fly the impulse kites by Kitech, and for me in individual disciplines, I still continue flying the Nirvana because that suits my personal style and my personal flying style in tricks. That's different.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough to have a couple of impulses, so
I have a few myself.
Yeah.
We have some new impulsors which are on their way. What
colors, dare I ask?
There you ask the colors. It's our team colors. We've spent really a year to find colors that both of us like, and we ended up with blue, pink, and some white and black involved. So
does that sound familiar?
I've not seen that color combination anywhere before. Josh,
I haven't either.
Yeah.
Doesn't ring any bells.
No.
Nope.
Great minds think alike is all I'm going to say.
Absolutely.
I have a question for Ingeborg. I know that you said you're relatively new to flying, three years or so. I have a question that I like to ask a lot of my guests here. I would like to know from your standpoint, what would be 5 tips for beginners? Like, what did you do when you first started out that someone else could avoid doing? You know, what are some good tips that you could give for brand new flyers out there?
The best tip I can give is to, and Stephan's going to kill me, to break some bars. Don't be scared to break some bars of your kite. You're all laughing, but if you're not, and Stephan learned that from me, haha. If you're not scared to break your bars, you're more, how do you say that? You will try more, you will make more, you will take more risk, and you will improve better. At least I think. That's my opinion.
It's like skateboarding. You know, if when I was very young, this good few years ago, well, I used to skateboard, and if you were telling anyone, you'd say you've got to fall off. You've got to learn how to fall off, because as soon as you learn how to fall off, you won't be scared. And it's I guess it's the same principle. You break a few rods, and then you're not scared to break rods anymore, because it's not that big a deal.
Just
this is kind of a follow question to that, but I know from experience that Ingeborg has broken some fairly good quality rods.
It was Stephan who broke it. It was not me.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
I just wanted to add to what Ingeborg was saying. I really agree. Like, you have to break bars. That means that you're learning, you're progressing, and but the thing is, Ingeborg's first kite had aero stuff in it, and that's what she broke. So,
what you broke?
No.
Yes.
Let's just say we still disagree. I gave a command for a turn,
and I listened.
She listened. I turned the wrong way. So who broke the kite? It was the bar in her kite was broken.
Well, having been in a similar situation a lot, you often find that the person who gave the call is the one in the wrong. So actually, yeah, I give you that one. Stephan broke the kite.
So yeah, but on that moment we decided for a first kite, don't use the aero stuff. We went to P400 for that kite for a while.
Nice. Well, that was the first tip. We need 4 more. We need 4 more. So Come on, drop some knowledge on us.
You don't have to be. You shouldn't be afraid to ask, because if it's about one-line guides, two-line guides, four-line guides, everybody will help you. If you have a question, if you ask, how can I do whatever trick, or what was my biggest problem with the four-line guides? How do I unroll and roll these stupid lines? Everybody will help you. I mean, no one makes a problem to show you, to explain it like 5 times. They will show you 5 times. If you ask it for the 6th time, they will show you the 6th time. I mean, that's no problem. Everybody is really, really able to help you. They really want to help you.
That's
Yeah.
a good one. Yeah, ask people for help. Ask people
just,
for help.
Just adding to that, fly as much different types of kites as possible. Test the different kinds of types.
I like that.
Just try to fly as much kites as you can. I have had the luck, as we said before, like the sharing part in kite communities is really present. Everybody's really sharing experiences. So it's quite common to ask, I don't know that kite yet. Can I try it? Can I test it? And just by trying the different types of kites, you discover ways of flying. And for beginners, I'd say, like, take your time to find a good kite. Take the time to find your kite, the kite that suits your style and your way of flying.
Stephan and me have a really different style. Stephan is more the aggressive one, which we call the French style sometimes. And I'm more floaty, and I'm a bit lazy. So the kite has to work for me, and Stephan wants to work with the kite. And that's the difference between us. So if you fly alone, it are 2 totally different kites. Stephan flies the Nirvana, I fly the 93. I mean, they are totally different.
So we've got break bars. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Try and find what you like by flying lots of other kites. Have we got 2 more?
2 more.
Good question.
Yeah, good question. In fact, experience. I mean, fly as often as you can in different conditions, different wind conditions, low wind, harder wind, short lines, long lines. Just try to grab any experience you can and try to learn from. There is no such thing as a bad flying day. I mean, that's a day you have learned a lot of things. And flying in bad conditions several times, once you're in the ideal conditions, then everything goes in a perfect way.
Well, me and Josh don't have any option but to fly in bad conditions because we live in the UK.
Very, very true.
So we have to make do. We have to make do.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just moving on from that. Something that we ask is about myths in kiting and common myths that we want to get rid of. Do either of you have any?
Kite myths.
Something that you hear people talk about, or
kite flying is for men.
Yes.
Okay.
Love it, love it, love it.
It was perfect.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. That's indeed nation about women and men. Kite flying is for men. Yeah, that's something. It's completely not true. I mean, there are really great female kite flyers in the world. Absolutely. And they have wonderful ballets. They have a wonderful flying style. So there's also the project, and I think Ingeborg can tell more about that. It's the Amazons project on festivals in France in general, and that's really a great project. So I leave the honor to Ingeborg.
Yeah. So it's something Laura Mastromauro organizes most of the time. So on the festivals in France, all women who are on the festival fly together in a mega team, just to show people that there are female kite flyers and that they are as good as men. I mean, it's not man against woman. It's not. Some have a different style, some don't have a different style. I mean, it's not because you're female you have to fly like a woman, let's say. You have to do only floaty tricks. You can be aggressive as a woman. You can fly just as good as the men.
I've seen some women that can fly better than the men.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, I mean, we're doing a podcast with one right now, so yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
if you see like also the list of teams who were invited for Berg 2020, there are female teams. I'm talking about the China Dolls, completely female team. Valkyries, the Valkyries from Colombia, female team. So yeah, kite flying is not only a male sport.
No, I think we're quite lucky in the fact that we're it's open to everyone. Like anyone can pick up a kite and fly it, literally. So yeah, we're lucky in the fact that we have a good mix within the sport.
How would you get today's youth into kiting?
That's a hot one. That's something we've been thinking of several times in the kite flying community, especially the dual line kite flying community in Belgium last years. How can you invite younger people to start flying kites? That's a very hard thing. I mean, even in the whole European scene, there are 2, 3, maybe 4 very young kite flyers who are really flying at a good level, and yeah, who have perspectives, who have a future in kite flying, and who can perform well. And it's always a pity to see only 1 or 2 of them on competition or on demonstration or whatever. I think it's also like the power kite issue is very popular amongst younger people. I'm talking about mountain boards, kiteboarding, kite surfing in general. That's very popular for younger people. And then once you go to sports kite, it's like it doesn't attract them. It's like it doesn't sound spectacular or active enough or whatever. And that's a pity, because take them to Berg or take them to a festival, go and see demonstration with them, and they will be amazed by what's happening. And that's also what Ingeborg said, like being accessible on kite festivals, talking to people. That's very important, because mostly there are children coming to the pilots and asking how things work. And I think on that point, we really can attract younger people, children, to start flying kites. Years ago, I think it was in Stella. I don't know if Josh was there on that edition. We had a children's competition in Stella before the freestyle competition of all the others. We had a children's competition, 6 children taking part of it. But that was absolutely a great initiative, and I really hope to see that coming back in the future on kite festivals, like children events or events for children on that main arena, because that would be really a great thing.
You're bang on there. You couldn't have answered that more perfectly.
That was a great answer.
So in a general form, and you can both answer this, what would be your funniest kite memory from your time flying as a pair, specifically?
The pair flying. Cool. Yeah, I think Ingeborg has a perfect story about what happened in Narbonne 3 years ago.
Yes, of course, I have to tell that story. So we were walking around at the beach and just looking and preparing stuff for the festival the next day, because we were there on Friday, I guess. I'm not sure anymore. And I think it was Roger came with the camera, and I waved to him, and he said, all women always wave to the camera. I can take a picture of it. You have to do something standing still. So I put up my middle finger, and he snapped a picture. Of course, he snapped a picture. And so I forgot about it. Of course, I forgot about it. And the Saturday evening, I guess, was it evening?
Yep.
We had dinner, and kite flyers do what kite flyers do. So we had some papers, and everybody made paper planes and throwing at each other. So that was already fun. And then at the back of the screen, that came the picture of my beautiful hello to the camera. Which of course everybody saw, and everybody said hello back to me.
Yep.
So
Here in
it was-
America, that's finally known as the one bird salute.
Kind of, but the day after, everybody was doing it to her on the beach. All kite flyers said hello that way.
Oh, that's great.
breakfast and everybody was saying hello Ingeborg with their middle finger. And yeah, and still it was 2 years ago, I guess. It wasn't last year. It was 2 years ago, and still everyone says hello to me that way. So I maybe made a name.
Amazing. That is amazing.
Um, what is the Phoenix pair's favorite beer and why?
We both have one. I'm going for a beer from a city brewery in Mechelen. I'm going for the Gouden Carolus whiskey infused. So that's beer has been in barrels where whiskey has been in before. So you have the taste of whiskey in the beer, and that's absolutely fantastic.
That sounds wonderful.
Absolutely.
It sounds hectic.
It's
I drink a lot of stouts and IPAs myself.
but that's the thing. That's the kind of beer you have to drink like one or two on the whole evening, relaxed, and just not drinking them very fast. That's often an issue of people who drink Belgian beers or stronger beers the first time. All pilots or all kite flyers who have been in Ostend, they all know that one. They all know that one bar in Ostend, and their very first time over there drinking stronger beers. I mean, they all remember that night, especially the day after. Been there, done that.
Oh yes.
Yes.
And Ingeborg, what would your
So-
favorite be?
The name of my beer, Stephan has to pronounce it because I still can't speak French. So
Pidieu.
a Piju. It's a beer, a triple, I guess. It's a triple. It's a very strong beer, and if you're drinking it, it's like, oh, smooth. It's so nice. It's so nice. And your glass is empty, and you're standing up, and you're falling down because it's you don't realize how strong it is if you're drinking it, but it's so smooth. It's so nice. I really love it. They only brew it by full moon. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
special recipe, I guess.
Moonlight infused.
Yep.
Nice. Nice. Stephan, have you got a funny story from the kite field?
It's yeah. I mean, in the podcast before, Josh was talking about our great experience in Scheveningen, flying in that horrible wind and all flying those Red Bull kites. I think it was with Harry, with Dan, Josh, Chris, and me, and that was we were dragged over the beach, but we all had in mind that was something irresponsible to do. And before we started flying, it was like, okay, guys, whether we're breaking limbs or we're breaking the kites, but something's gonna break. And it was a kite because of a mistake of Chris, if I'm not mistaken. It was Chris who,
Debatable.
it's debatable. Yeah, it's debatable. But we were all dragged over the sand, and we all knew, we shouldn't have done that. But we all had that great smile on our faces afterwards. We went to the bar, and we were all like, that was absolutely an amazing experience to do. Also something else for us as a pair, we have quite a funny reputation in kite scene, as well as always having delays with trains, planes, whatever. I mean, on the last 2 years, we have spent 3 nights extra on places. I mean, 2 times in Paris, once in Lisbon. So we had to stay 1 night extra because there was no plane anymore. Weather was bad. Trains were delayed. There was a fire in the railway station or a bomb package somewhere. I mean, hours and hours and even days of delay. It's something, we always have.
So, on the high wind occasion that you've just spoken about, that time you broke the kite. Now, have you ever had any kite-related injuries?
Injuries, personally not, but I have seen injuries of people just grabbing lines because, wanted to stop a kite, grabbing the line bare hand, grabbing a line, and I've seen the blood in the fingers, the line cutting the fingers. It's I've seen it. I've never experienced myself. I'm very lucky, but I have seen it on the beach, and that's really impressive. And that's something also very hard to explain to public or people coming by. If people are just walking under your lines, yeah, they don't realize that's something dangerous. And
People don't understand a kite really can hurt you if you have if even if it's a single line kite, it can really hurt you if it hits you wrong.
Yeah, we I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but I call it kite blindness. Where we fly, I mean, you've flown at the Downs as well, but you'd be shocked at how many people just walk through your lines. They just don't see them. They're stretched out in front of you with a kite at the end, and they just go careering past.
Yeah, absolutely. But just to explain, like as I told before about the field director part. Also, when we train, we have that safety word for those situations. I mean, it's like safety. Then it's kites up in the air, have just not landing, keep them up in the air, stable, so people can walk by, can walk. Yeah, where you are flying, it happens very often when you're flying alone, when you're training on the beach. But it also happens on kite festivals that people are just walking through the arena. And in that, for those occasions, you need that safety word for the safety of all, for pilots, for people, for animals as well. I mean, just a dog grabbing your kite or just jumping in your lines, it's dangerous.
I guess this is a great follow-on question to that after you've just mentioned the World Championships. Now, I know currently the World Championships is just team flying, but if you guys were part of a team, would you ever want to compete in the World Championships, or does that not appeal to you both?
For me, that's an absolutely yes. I would love to. Absolutely.
I'm not a competition kind of person. I don't feel competitions. I don't understand the need to win a competition. It's not my piece of cake.
That's a fair enough.
Yeah. We're already very happy. Like, we have those ambitions to fly the Europeans as a pair or individual. That's something we want to do. We had the chance to fly the Masters competitions in the south, and the Open de France last year in Fréjus, and those are great experiences. It's a completely different formula of competition, but you learn so much on those days. You learn so much on kite flying, on how to behave, how to fly, how to calm down, and yeah, those are really interesting moments. So it's like competitions are sometimes important because it gives that little extra of pressure. Like, it's now you have to perform.
Yeah,
you have to perform on this moment, and it gives that little extra. But just to add what Ingeborg said, we are not flying only for competitions. We are flying because we love flying in the first place, and we want to show something to public. I love to do competitions because of the atmosphere. And that's something we often discuss, like, okay, shall we do this competition, yes or no? And
I also don't get the competition kind of thing, because I think if you do a demonstration or you do a competition, it's always important to give the best of yourself, because the people who are watching deserve that.
Yeah. So just on the competitive side, tell us about Tricks Party, Belgium.
Yeah. Yeah, we still Tricks Party is a very well-known formula of kite flying. So yeah, basically there are 2 rounds. You have compulsories, tricks chosen by the judges on that day regarding wind conditions, regarding the space we have and what is possible. And all pilots fly those compulsories. They get notes on the technical execution of it. And then in the second round, all pilots fly their ballet. The big difference is, like, for masters competitions, you fly your ballet as well, but you don't have to give your tricks or your figures to the judges before. So in Tricks Party, you hand in your list, so the judges see your list of tricks. They can see what you're gonna fly, so they can also see when you mess up. I mean, you can try, let's say, like in in a masters competition, if you have in mind to fly a Jacob's ladder, but it turns out badly, and you only do it like the Lazy Susan, you didn't mess up something. But for the tricks party, it's on the list. You have the Jacob's ladder on that list. When you fly Lazy Susan, it's like, okay, you messed up. You did not fly that what you have written. But it's still a formula which is very present in Belgium. There are 3 or 4 pilots really actively flying competitions. But Belgian and Dutch competitions are always together. We have competitions in Zeebrugge. We have had competitions in Den Helder, in Gemert, in Bakel. All different places. I think in Lommel as well years ago. And it's still active. But for us, it's more like an excuse to have a weekend together, flying together. The competition is a nice extra, but it's like flying together, having nice moments together, drinking beer, and learning from each other, helping each other. With those Dutch pilots, we also have a tricks party boot camp in July. But this year, I think it's going to be a bit of a problem. But the last years in July, we had a boot camp weekend with Belgian and Dutch tricks party pilots, and that's absolutely great. You learn a lot on those weekends as well.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
I mean, we use the tricks party format for freestyle competition during Stack, and I love the format. I've got to agree with you. It's great.
It's absolutely great. Yeah, it's personal. I mean, there are moments that I said that I'm rather pro tricks party because of you have that list, you have that one you want to fly, and you get your scores based on that list. But on the other hand, I like the freedom in freestyle, in completely freestyle competitions.
Yeah.
Not being bound to that list. If you feel well, you can go that little extra. I mean, if everything's going very well, you still have to stick to your list.
Yes.
If everything's going well in a freestyle, you can do that little extra on the end.
Okay, so we're actually over the hour mark at this point, and I'm always very conscious that our guests have given us their time. So gonna start wrapping up, but I'd like to end with a question sort of outside of kiting. So if you weren't flying kites, what would you be doing? If kites did not exist in your world, what would you be doing?
For me, it's pole dancing. I've done pole dancing as a sport for 3 or 4 years, I guess. And when I moved to Belgium, it was quite difficult to go on with it because there are not a lot of places in Belgium where you can do pole dancing. So I had to quit. But if I shouldn't do anything kite related anymore, I should go back to pole dancing, yes.
That's the best answer I've ever heard.
Thank you. I expected that answer, yes.
And obviously it's the same for Stephan.
Yeah, for me,
pole dancing as well.
For me, it would probably something mountain related, like mountaineering, doing some huge walks in the mountains, but also
You don't pole dance either?
No.
You don't get down with the magic mic?
Yeah, I prefer watching it. That's something I really love, but do it myself, no.
Fantastic. Okay, unless anyone's got any other questions, we'll wrap it up. But I want to say a massive thank you for you both coming on. We're very, very grateful. We are still in our infancy, and it's just nice to have people that are prepared to come on and give us a chance. Thank you to everyone that has been downloading and listening to the podcast. We've had some crazy responses, and thank you to everyone else that's watching the build along series that we've been running with Josh. Massive uptake on that, and we honestly cannot thank you enough. We will be doing the second part of the build along, which should be tomorrow, because the podcast should be out on Saturday if I do what I need to do in time. And just a massive thank you.
And please bear in mind that you still have the chance to win one of those 2 smaller pulses by donating to charity, and you'll be entered into the raffle to win one of those kites.
Just a follow-up For that, when you do donate, please take a screenshot of your donation and send it to us so we can verify it.
Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah.
Okay, guys and girls, thank you very much.
Thank
Have a
you.
good rest of your evening. I know we started late, so hopefully
Yeah, no.
I'm assuming it'll be straight to bed now.
It's great. Just want to say it's really a great thing, those online podcasts. It's really something great for kite community. It's absolutely great work. So I really hope it can go on for a very long time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. It's much appreciated. Okay, everyone.
Yeah.
Goodbye. See you soon.
Thank you very much.
See you soon.